Hi guys, I am Zoisk. So this week, I actually pushed through with Magyar. After last video where I hit a wall and needed to step away, I came back and focused on laying down the primary details, getting the overall feel right, fixing what needed fixing, adding a bit more rendering and polish. And I want to talk about why I approach it that way, because I think it's actually one of the more useful things I've learned through this whole process. Here's the thing I've noticed about myself, and honestly about a lot of artists. There's this pull to jump straight into details. You lay down a rough shape and immediately your brain wants to start rendering the little buckle on the armor or the texture on the cloth. It feels productive, it feels like progress. But it's actually one of the fastest ways to burn yourself out on a piece. Because when you're deep in details before the foundation is solid, you end up redoing that detailed work over and over every time something underneath changes. And that's exhausting in a way that doesn't even feel like exhausting work. It just quietly drains you. So, this session, I made myself stay disciplined about it. Primary details first, just getting the overall read right, the big shapes, the major values, changes, fixing whatever looked off structurally. Tertiary details, the tiny stuff, I left alone completely. Even when I wanted to zoom in and start refining something small, I forced myself to stay zoomed out. And honestly, the drawing started to come together in a way that it hadn't before. It's not fully polished, it's not fully rendered, but the overall feel of it finally looks right, which is a really different feeling from earlier videos where individual parts looked fine, but the whole thing felt disconnected. I think that's the lesson here. You don't actually need every part finished to know if a piece is working. You need every layer at a similar level of finish before you let yourself go deeper into any one of them. Rough shapes everywhere first, then primary forms everywhere, then secondary details everywhere, only then tertiary. If you let one area get way more refined than the rest too early, you lose the ability to judge the whole picture honestly. That said, not everything got solved this session. The arm farther from the camera, specifically the armor on it, genuinely gave me a hard time. I couldn't figure out how the armor plate should adapt to the movement of the body from that angle, or even what the design should fully look like back there since it's partially hidden. I didn't fully solve it. I worked around it for now, got it to a place where it doesn't break the read of the piece, but it's not resolved the way I want it to be eventually. And I'm okay leaving it like that for now, because forcing a fix I'm not confident in would just create the same detail too early problem I was trying to avoid in the first place. Lighting was its own challenge too, since Magyar's light source is coming from his own body, which means it's not a simple single direction light. It's something closer to him glowing from within and that light wrapping around the forms unevenly. That's a different problem than studying a normal external light source, and I'm still figuring out how that should behave realistically across the armor. Overall though, I'm genuinely happy with where this session landed. It's not done, it's not perfect, but it finally feels like a complete piece instead of disconnected parts. And I think that's because I stopped trying to finish things and started trying to get every layer to feel right together first. If you're working on something and feeling overwhelmed by the details, try stepping back and asking if your foundation is actually solid yet. Sometimes burnout isn't about working too hard. It's about working on the wrong layer too early. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.